All right, question one, and this was directed to the mayors. It says, major storms like Hurricane Helene have significantly impacted communities in North Carolina and in neighboring states. What is your perspective on the role of local government in preparing Raleigh for future major storms, and what actions, if any, do you believe should be taken? Now, Raleigh actually has quite a few emergency services already. Part of our problem is that we don't have enough staff to cover them all. Our fire department is understaffed, and they are a huge part of our emergency response. In fact, we sent a whole division of firefighters out to Western North Carolina to help with the emergency efforts that were going on out there. But again, they're understaffed, and our fire department especially is the first line of defense for in a situation such as this. Our EMS, especially our call-in centers, we don't have enough staff there. And with the traumas that go along with that, we also need support staff, because truly that call-in center, our 911 operators, are the genuine first responders, and because they hear about the things that are going on firsthand, and then they have to dispatch somebody out there to meet the need of whatever is going on. And there's no telling what they hear in those types of situations. I spoke specifically to stormwater, which is a preventative measure. Stormwater is one of our departments. In fact, there was an event called Stormwater Awareness Week not too long ago that happened in, I want to say, the earlier part of October. And it was a whole week. It was Stormwater Awareness Week. There was a whole week, and they had a bunch of online seminars. They had tons of presenters every single day coming out of California, this organization out of California. But what I wanted to highlight is that two of the seminars were actually done by City of Raleigh employees. We were highlighted. It was a regional spotlight, was one of them on Raleigh and the work that they do around stormwater. What's so important about what they do for stormwater is they manage our drains. They make sure that, because the water that comes from the sky and the water that comes through our sewers are handled in two totally different ways. That's why on the drains, if you're walking along and you see the sewers, they ask you not to throw trash in because it's going into the rivers and lakes and streams. And so if you see things like that, if they're clogged, if those drains are clogged, that's what causes flooding. Our infrastructure is constantly being updated, especially with the addition of increased density. And so we have to be really careful, because literally those storm drains being clogged are the reason that our streets flood. And so people are feeling comfortable, where I'm just going to throw it in the trash. That does not go to the sewer, to like our wastewater treatment plant. That's not where it goes. Yes, it goes into a sewer, but those drain to a different place. They drain to our lakes and our streams. And sometimes, in some cases, in all cases, we just have to be careful, because we're also destroying the ecosystems that inhabit those lakes and streams and rivers. And so I would just invite you that if you see a drain that's clogged, in fact, I have to report one. If you see a drain that's clogged, a storm drain that's clogged, that says that, if you see any kind of contaminants going into it, please, there's a whole department that handles this kind of stuff. I've reported an incident that I saw. They checked it out, it got cleaned up. It's so much better. And so that's one way that the city does. And as citizens, the way that we can get involved is by not throwing trash down those storm drains, and by reporting when we see a clogged one. If we can't clean it out, then we can call the city and they'll get it done. That's their job. And so those are like preventative. There's some preventative. I mean, we need to hire more firefighters. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, that's something that I think would be a possibility, is to start a whole volunteer leg. That means that, you have to go through the same training and everything, and you don't get paid. But if you could spare a day a week, to support our fire department, I think that would be phenomenal. Also, if you're looking for work and you'd be interested in working for emergency services, I think that's important. Please apply and see if you qualify. Those are going to be the main things that would help us to survive besides community, besides each other. There actually is another aspect of the fire department where they do have a training for during states of emergency. And I will have to remember the name of it and put that information there, but they actually hold a training. So the city actually does a lot already in preparation for storms. Then there's all the technology that they use to like monitor our streams to see which areas of the city are flooding. I mean, this was all talked about. This has been talked about. I've heard it at least twice. One was at the Stormwater Awareness Week presentation, but they've also had one of the fairs that they had earlier this year. There was different departments of the city there. It was a Big Ideas Raleigh. That's what it was, one they had at Marsh Creek. And Marsh Creek. Yes, I believe it was at Marsh Creek Park, maybe in March. And they had a gentleman there from Stormwater who was talking about the technology that they're using to monitor the streets, to monitor the stream so that they can know like when the streams are rising, when there's a potential for flooding, when they can send out messages and alerts and things of that nature. I think with these last few storms I've had more alerts about the potential for flooding and evacuation and things of that nature. So there is a lot of infrastructure there. You just have to be involved in order to find out more about it. So what I would recommend is you find out how to get signed up for the Stormwater newsletter and be a part of the solution, because that's how it's going to get done. Thank you.